Hey, I want to Isaiah. I want to walk up behind Isaiah, pull up, reach my hands out, and just give him a big old. That's what my Isaiah. You want tongue?
Welcome to Season 5 of the Lounge Draft League. My name is Michael, and I'm here as always to give you your mid-season interviews. I'll be your host as we sit down with all my fellow coaches to talk about their thoughts on the current season. This season's theme is VGC doubles, and most of us are experiencing the format for the first time. So stick with me, get yourself comfortable, grab yourself a snack or beverage of choice, and enjoy the video. I've been recording for like 2 minutes now.
Oh, really?
So all that stuff about William's mom,
Please don't leave any of that in.
I probably won't.
Pretty. Thank you. No, not probably. You pinky promise you won't leave any of it
Alright.
in.
I want no edits. I want everything that I say verbatim. I don't want to be seen as Kamala Harris, where some of her things were kind of chopped up kind of suspiciously to make her answers better. I'm not for that. Hello everybody. My name is Kamala Harris. I'm crazy and I want my future opponents to beat me, and Jake, you're number one in my heart.
Hi, I am William. I am the coach of the Cerulean City Slow Kings. Yeah, I have the best team, and I will everyone.
Hello, I'm Gabby. I'm the coach of the Cool Guy Club.
Hi guys. My name is Eric. I'm the Horsey Battle Club coach this season.
My name is Chris, and my team is the Team Potassium Oxygen.
I'm Isaiah. I'm the coach of the Bastiodon Bulwarks, the best team in the league. Our mascot Bastiodon has been a little bit MIA this season. Somebody else nabbed him, so we've contacted the relevant authorities. Should have that sorted out soon.
Alright, hey guys, I'm Ben, and I'm the coach of the Vawan Rat Pack. I'm back for a season after my sudden disappearance last season. I'm back for the full season this time.
Alright, this is Kyle. You've known me from the lounge for each season. I'm on Team Latif, which is... Wait, this isn't fantasy football.
Yeah, my name's Alex, and my team name Shining Celix. That's it. I knew it right off the bat. I'm professional. My name's Shining Celix. Anything else I need to say?
Alright, hi. I'm Connor, also known as Logos, and I am the coach of the Wapaka Limpsicots. I totally meant to rebrand, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So I think we might just be committing.
Hi, I'm Jake. I forgot my team name. Oh my god.
Wow.
They're on Artillery Battle Club.
My name is Eli, and my team name is Team Phase.
Alright, hello. I am Nathan, and I am the coach of the Evolution.
Since you're a newcomer, I'm going to go over some quick, introductory type questions here. So, what is your history of playing Pokemon?
I got into Gen 5, and then kind of backtrack. And so for Gen 5, I watched the anime, collected some of the cards, played, obviously, Black and White. And I did a little bit of backtracking. I remember I got a copy of Soul Silver, watched a couple of the older animated series, and then I ended up playing a little bit of Sun and Moon. But I have not really done anything related to Pokemon in multiple years leading up to this league starting.
Generation 5 is my favorite generation of Pokemon, and it is not even close. I had every version of Black and White and Black and White 2, and I cleared them multiple times, and I just got me into Pokemon, and I really love those games.
What's your experience playing competitive Pokemon?
Competitive Pokemon started for me fully during Generation 6, X and Y. I say that because I think X and Y was the first game that I played where I was able to use the online features of Pokemon games consistently, and they actually had the online single battles or double battles. I first started doing single battles, so I just thought they were cooler, and the games don't really do double battles too much until you reach those battle towers at the end of the games. So I was I'll do single battles, I'll keep it going, and then after that I was I want to keep playing, but building Pokemon is kind of tough. And I had a friend back in middle school go, oh, there's Pokemon Showdown. You can go on there. I was like, what do you mean? Here, I'll show you. We went through Pokemon Showdown, played that for days on end, making new teams, making teams of Pokemon I liked, doing OU, underused, never used, and ignored Uber because I got that shit got boring after a while.
Yeah. My first time playing Showdown, I didn't know competitive Pokemon like at all. I had no concept of like what is a good Pokemon. I just used Pokemon I liked, and so I remember using I created like a Steelix with like Dragon Breath, and it's like I'm like, oh my god, it gets this move, and I had no idea the difference between like physical and special moves.
Effective, you guys.
I'm like, oh my god, it's so cool. You can learn Dragon Breath and stuff like that, and like making like Muck and like having just like random moves on it, and then going on to like OU and UU and trying to like make the teams work. What's your favorite Pokemon?
Oshawott is my favorite Pokemon. I don't know. It was Oshawott recently has become my favorite. Before that, I also really liked Machoke, which is really funny that I ended up wrestling because he's basically just the wrestler Pokemon.
Oh, that's so hard. You can ask me on any given day, and it will change based on what I've done that day or what I've just been thinking about. If I had to choose a Pokemon just overall, it would probably be Samurai.
Yeah.
It goes back to my Generation 5 love. I always loved like water-based attacks, I guess you should say. Because growing up, I always read books. I read the Percy Jackson series, and I really liked when Percy in those books used his godly powers to do water stuff. I was like, ooh, I like that. And so I picked up Oshawott, leveled him with Dewott. That was like, oh, Dewott looks cool. Loved the Samurai. I was like, Samurai, he looks cool. And I was like, mwah. Competitively wise, he's not that good. Unless you have his uniform. So if I had to choose a Pokemon competitively speaking, it would be Lander's Therian form, because he was the first Pokemon that I committed to using in a competitive setting. So two separate answers. Just overall, Samurai's my favorite, and then competitively speaking, just strictly competitive Pokemon, it's Landers without a doubt.
So Kyle, specifically for you, what is your favorite Pokemon?
Yay! So, in previous seasons, for those of you at home, if you didn't watch the previous interviews, you would know that
my favorite Pokemon was a specific Heracross from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, whatever the new Switch one is. That it had rapid bullseyes, all the multi-hits would always hit, and I gave it all the vitamins and it was really strong.
But that has been replaced because last season we had a new MVP, and his name was Kiro, and he was a Gallade. And Gallade, I think that just made so cool with the new ability Sharpness. He just hits so hard. He has so much cool coverage, and last season of the Lounge just really made Gallade my favorite Pokemon. But as a martial artist, I think just like slicing moves are cool. Like I've done sword work before, and just imagining Gallade like actually doing the actions and just being stronger because he has literal blades for arms. I think it's just so cool.
I do.
And it actually backs it up. It's like, this dude has a sword for hands, and he's like base 80 attack or something. Now he actually hits hard.
Well, I think Ceruledge should also get Sharpness too, but maybe
I think so.
Maybe two.
I think maybe next gen they give him Sharpness and they give Armarouge Mega Launcher.
I was just about to say that. Thank you. I was just about to say that. Give Ceruledge Sharpness, give Armarouge Mega Launcher, and everything is right in the world. Last of the introductory questions. What is your inspiration behind your team name and your logo?
Ooh, okay. So when you guys said that we have like team names and stuff, I instantly was like, all right. Like I wanted to cook with this, and so I was trying to think of other logos I've seen before, other team names, and I went for I wanted more of like a traditional like sports branding team name. I ended up not doing like a city or a location beforehand, but I feel like Evolution, or like calling a team the Evolution, I feel like it's within the realm of possibility within sports. And obviously there's that connection to just Pokemon in general. And then so I kind of came up with the idea of the name, like, okay, the Evolution, that's really cool. And then I was like, well, obviously the poster child of evolution in Pokemon is Eevee, and then I thought of the idea of having basically like the ray of light representing all of their evolutions right behind it, with like a little word mark. And so yeah, that was I was very happy with the idea that I came up with, and then I think Eric was the one that was creating a lot of the team logos, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, he cooked with the logo design, so I every time I look at it, I'm very, very happy with it.
Team phase kind of based it off of the Pokemon like villains in Pokemon Black and White, but because it was plasma, and I was like, oh, there's phases of like matters that you go through, and plasma's the secret form. I was like, oh, it's a phase, for Pokemon. So I thought it was really nice.
What are you enjoying most about VGC doubles so far?
Well, one thing is planning. It's so interesting planning, especially for my team, having Pelipper and Torkoal. I have some variety I can use, but that might change, so we'll see about that. It's been fun planning. It's a little bit of a challenge, though, because you're only bringing 4 Pokemon. So it's like there's 6 Pokemon, and then when you actually battle, there's 4 Pokemon that you battle against. And so it's kind of like trying to read your opponent, which is fun. I like doing trying to read what my opponent does.
Yeah, for me, it's just kind of like how different it is than singles. Just like a completely new meta, completely new strategies. It's a really nice mix-up, and I was honestly kind of scared going into the season because I had no doubles experience, but it wasn't too hard to pick up, I think.
Everything. I like doubles so much more than singles. Like, I'm just gonna be real. And I didn't know that until we started it, but I just like how much more skill expression there seems to be. I like the planning a lot more. I don't know, I guess I just like the agency of doubles, and a lot of people have been saying that it's overwhelming and that there's too much to keep track of, but honestly, that's my favorite part about it.
Would you say, okay, actually, do you think that doubles Pokemon is like even comparable to doubles in Smash?
In a way, maybe, because people will say the exact same thing about doubles in Smash, where there's too much going on, I don't know where I am, can't keep up with it. So I think it is comparable in that way, but the difference, I think, that sets them apart is that with Smash, you just kind of need to keep doing it over and over, then and you get used to it. Whereas in VGC doubles, I think if you aren't studying or just like learning the game, I don't think you're gonna go anywhere. You can't just like throw your face at the wall and get it after a while.
I guess too, in Smash you have your partner there, and so there's a lot of like synergy with your partner and having like good chemistry there, and that will help you in turn in doubles as well.
For sure.
So there's that aspect
I think in that way there's even less agency in Smash doubles because you're dealing with 3 people instead of just 1. And sometimes your teammate kills you, sometimes your opponents do something really, really smart that you weren't expecting. I'm a doubles fanatic, by the way, in Smash. I don't know if you knew. I know so much about Ultimate doubles. I would say there's less agency in Smash doubles, but not in a bad way.
Gee, thanks for asking. My favorite part about VGC doubles this season, Season 5 of the Lounge Draft League, is that the games are played best of 3, which gives me more time to play with my opponents and experiment with my team actively during the game.
I just think that the doubles format is a lot more interesting. It's very unique in the kind of different little combinations that you can do. And I feel a little bit more kind of, I don't know how to say, maybe not capable, but it feels kind of more, it feels a little bit easier to figure out good combinations.
You feel like you're a little bit more in control.
Yeah. I don't know. I like that it kind of allows you to bring out more in certain mons, in a sense, much like obviously there's the combo on my team, the Regigigas Wheezing, allowing him to operate at full effectiveness immediately instead of waiting 4 turns. That's a big thing that just isn't possible in solo. And other situations of like where normally in solos you'd have like you'd have like your big mon and they would potentially get focused down and taken out completely. And while it's annoying to face a mon that just won't die, but it is very nice to be able to do things to protect your mon without sacrificing its individual turn or anything like that.
My favorite part about VGC so far is the playing the doubles has just been a completely different experience. I've never played doubles Pokemon, which is funny because all of the games focus around singles until you start playing against like real opponents for some reason. But doubles is interesting.
Well, I think where I enjoy this format more than last format is that I can use 2 Pokemon and can finally use moves like Quash on really use Prankster and like set up Pokemon correctly. I've never been a big setup guy, you know, I'm still a true believer that if the move doesn't attack, it's useless.
What's one move that is that you consider setup that you like?
Decorate. Oh my god, Decorate. I love Decorate. +2 in both special attack and attack is insane.
I was hoping that you would say Tarshot. Not gonna lie. I was hoping that you'd say Tarshot.
Tarshot. Okay, going back, what season was that? Was that last season?
That was last
Tarshot?
season.
Tarshot. In theory, Tarshot is a good move, but in action, it is so useless because it makes the opponent weak to fire, which is huge. But you also need to keep the Pokemon in. So I think Tarshot would be useful in a format like doubles.
Mm-hmm.
But in singles, it was just so bad, and I apologize to any Ben fans last season that were watching me praise Tarshot for the move it was, because it was not good.
Having Pokemon's weaker to fire is insane. Like, it's a great move. There's always a backup fire move to use against a Pokemon that got hit by Tarshot.
So I have not played doubles at all before, and well, besides probably 5 total matches of just random doubles battles on Pokemon Showdown.
Mm-hmm.
I watch Wolfie from time to time, just mainly his shorts. I don't really watch his long form videos, and it was definitely a new thing for me. I like that there's some double specific stuff, like moves that help your teammates, and you can do all sorts of different interactions that you would have no hope of doing in singles unless your opponent was basically helping you. And I've enjoyed trying to find those things that you don't see too often and try to make it work, which we've seen with the skill swap pure power, which was pretty cool. I have some more stuff planned that I don't want to say yet. The one thing I don't like about it is I feel like in doubles you have to play more optimally to have a chance at winning. In singles, like, you could play pretty lame and still win, but I think a lot of us in singles just picked Pokemon we liked and prepped for the other team, but you could kind of use what was on your team. Now in doubles, like, if you don't have Fake Out or you don't have Tailwind, then you just didn't draft right. But I like the freedom to draft a little bit more like what I want to do in singles. Like in doubles, I'm trying to do that too, and I've already accepted that I'm not going to win the championship, which is okay. The one thing that does stink is after that one game, after game 1, where if it works, then you can't really rely on it for game 2 and 3 because they're expecting it.
But that's the mind games. It's like, are you gonna do it again?
Do you do it again, and they plan for it, and then you pull up Plan B?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people have already said probably, everything so far about like makes it different. But I gotta say, just being able to see moves that you wouldn't be able to see otherwise, that are otherwise just useless, or even just like abilities that are usually useless being able to be used that you wouldn't see in singles, it feels like a completely different game.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, like the Helping Hand, you got your Muddy Waters you never use, or Electro Web, Icy Web.
I've used Muddy Water.
Well,
Just
you use
usually not.
You use it on Belly Bowl, which doesn't get any other water type moves. It doesn't count.
Yeah, that's why you remembered why I used it.
There's really just so much that I love about doubles. I think probably my favorite thing is just the pace of it.
Mm-hmm.
VGC is a much more fast-paced format where just by virtue of having 2 Pokemon on the field at any given time, games are going to be so much shorter because like there's always somebody like getting hit. I think also there's really like sort of an enhanced level of mind games compared to singles, where it's like singles you're almost trying to find like lines that never lose all the time, whereas VGC it's always like you have to be in your opponent's head if they're going to protect or Terra or whatever, whereas like you can guess wrong like 10 times in a singles match, and if your positioning and your prep is good enough, you're still fine.
And you've had experience with doubles, right? Like you've had experience with VGC and participated in like locals, I'm assuming?
I have not participated in locals. I played a little bit of VGC back in Regulation A, and then I'm an avid Wolfie VGC watcher.
I guess what's the difference between like VGC regular and then VGC draft?
And I really think that what the main difference is that there are roles on your team that are not filled very well. So each team kind of has certain holes where it's like, I'm running Hitmontop instead of Incineroar, and there are like running Incineroar would just be like a better call in nearly every situation. But
for sure.
You take what you can get, and I feel like every team, like, you could switch out 3 Pokemon and you would have a solid like VGC team, but it's like these sort of sloppy seconds. It's really a thing with the draft overall. Like, that's something you're going to see in every format, but I think especially in doubles where the roles are so well defined in terms of like support and or like all the different types of support, speed control, intimidate, fake out, so many like well-defined archetypes of Pokemon that you kind of are like compromising on. And I think that's a lot of why like preparation is so important in this sort of like a league. And I think it's what's going to be one of the most interesting things about playoffs is that you're kind of committing to this like almost half-baked VGC team. So it's like who has like the most solid team. I feel like most everybody in the league has like a draft where they can figure out some niche picks and fill the holes in their team. But like when you have to pick 6, like it's so hard to account for all the possibilities, and that's something that you run into even when you have all the Pokemon available. But I think it's really going to be accentuated by the draft format.
It's a lot more to think about. I don't know if I'd say it's something that I enjoy about doubles over singles, but like it's a very different experience.
I actually remember you said that you were the most person against a doubles draft. Is this like not your most favorite format?
For me, with draft, the thing that I really enjoyed, especially, like with singles, is coming up with, okay, this Pokemon has this stupid option. This is a bad option. This is an option that works against these Pokemon. I'm going to do this bad option with this Pokemon. And it's just something where it's like, okay, how can I beat my opponent in the team builder? And, a lot of times with these funny strategies. And I just feel like with doubles, there's so much more of like, oh, this strategy is really good, it's going to be a winning strategy type of thing, where I can't anymore be like, haha, I'll run my physical Pokemon with special moves. Because there's so much more like, okay, you need your fake outs, you need your protects, you need your stab move, and you are out of options with Pokemon now. It feels like there's so much more of, okay, this is the correct option, that it leaves a lot of funny options out the window.
Yeah, where they're not like as viable.
Yeah, one of my favorite strategies that I used was when I did a physical Darkrai with Sword Stance.
Yeah.
There's just no universe I could run a Pokemon that's so specially offensive in that way in doubles, because it's just going to get targeted and die and not do anything of value.
You never know. I might run Swords Dance or some little Blood Moon. You never know.
You never know.
You never know. No, but I totally understand what you mean.
Again this season. You don't gotta trick me with that.
I'm really kind of enjoying the way you can like counteract Pokemon, I guess is the best way you can say it. And I think I'm really enjoying like the interactions between Pokemon they can have, because even watching other players, like, oh dude, I didn't know Iron Hands could just fish out, that kind of thing. I know expanding force is a thing. I haven't seen that move yet in Pokemon Violet. What is that? I'm like, okay, he can just do that. I'm seeing, Tatsugiri and Dondozo, they just come out and boom. I was like, whoa! So that's how that shit works. I haven't used those Pokemon yet in my game. I love learning that. So the interactions and the learning aspect of the doubles going on so far is just, it makes me so feel so good about it. I've been before even week 1 started, I was just practicing with some friends, and I was getting so knowledge checked that it was really ticking me off. So I went out of my way to go back into my Violet playthrough again and look through every item and go, oh, so that item, it ignores stat changes. Damn. So that's how they got on Intimidate. I see now. Okay, I get it. Yeah, because dude, back during X and Y, the most you had to worry about was, oh, did the Pokemon need Mega Evolve, or did the Pokemon have, I don't know, a choice band on it and just one-shot you? No,
yeah, power creep is crazy now.
Yeah, I was like, wow. I'm watching Wolfie videos in the background, learning about the history of Pokemon. So I'm like, wow, I missed out a lot. This is fun.
I think just learning. Obviously, like I said, I don't have a lot of experience in Pokemon in general, especially competitive. The thing with doubles is it definitely I think makes things more complicated. But it also it gives me more abstract situations to try and figure out. It's one of those things where sometimes I feel a little overwhelmed and I think ah man, I wish it was singles. But then I also think well, if let's say there's, most other types of Pokemon games, I should be able to kind of going into the deep end should give me a better idea for if I end up playing in a singles or whatever other types of competition they have. I've got a little bit more depth with the doubles that I can kind of try and learn with and juggle and try and figure out. One combo I already figured out that I really like is I run Fake Out on Cineroar, and then my secondary Pokemon I usually try and play off of whatever the opponent's top S tier Pokemon, what their type weakness is. That way I can, right off the bat, I can hit Fake Out on them and then follow up with a super effective attack, which over time has become less effective because I think people have started to realize that. But that's just one thing that with the doubles that I feel I've been able to kind of try and experiment with, and it's okay, I can do this into that into this, etc. So
how are you feeling about your overall performance so far?
Well, after Ben beat me one-sidedly with Sableye, and only bringing 4 Pokemon, my morale was pretty low. Morale was at an all-time low, and then I had to face Kyle, and then that could have gone better. So it's kind of low, and I beat Nathan, but he was kind of putting me on edge. He had some really good Pokemon, so I was kind of nervous about that. So, I'm kind of nervous about the season. I'm not doing so well. So far right now, I'm 0-2 from what you guys see. But yeah, it's kind of up in the air. We'll see how well I do for the rest of the season. Honestly, against Eric, I feel like we are at a similar place. We're both 1-2, but to be fair, Eric has been facing some tough opponents, and I've just been having some bad plays, so it's gonna be a little bit interesting against Eric. I have to face Connor too, and I have to face you, so that and Jake. I always face Jake. That's one of those things I've noticed. Every single season, I always face Jake, and I throw really hard. And then I have to face Eli, and Eli looks like he's a tough competitor as well. So, they're overall I'm looking to the future of the season, and I might have to change up how I operate my team so then I can perform well.
I obviously feel pretty good about the way my season has gone so far. Honestly, I am a little bit scared for the future because I faced a good number of really good opponents, and I'm worried that my team might be too one-dimensional in how it plays, and they'll be able to counter it. Or maybe it's just good enough that they won't be able to stop it, but I feel pretty good about my position right now. But it could definitely get scary. Hi, Eric. Coming up.
So it's currently the end of week 3 going into week 4, and I am undefeated. With every single one of my matches thus far, there was a point where I'm like, fuck, I lost. Then we just kind of managed to pull through in some way, shape, or form. Dude, this is so cringe. An Undertale song just came on in my playlist, and it's like emotional. It's so cringe. I'm not emotional, I swear to God.
You're emotional.
I'm not. But yeah, I think I'm really happy with my performance thus far, and I hope I can keep it up.
How are you feeling about your upcoming performance against future opponents?
I'm not optimistic, if I'm gonna be completely honest. I feel like my schedule is very, very difficult. I play Nathan this week, and then I play Connor, then I play you. It's Nathan, Eric, Connor, you, Jake. And I'm like, okay, cool, this sucks. I'm not looking forward to any of those, honestly. Like,
Well, you don't have to worry
However-
about Eric. Eric's like nothing this season.
He's got a new team now.
Like barely. Okay, actually, he did trade a few Pokemon, but like it's Eric. You don't have to worry about him. He's like never a threat. Don't even worry about it.
I don't think so, because when I was practicing with Jake, like week 1, I was using Eric's team, and I loved it. It was so fun to use. I liked it a lot. And I don't think it was nearly as bad as, it's just really solid all around. So I guess I'm excited to see what he changed.
Oh, there you go, Eric. You got a fan. Congratulations.
I love this game so much.
I, for one, am quite pleased with my performance so far. Even though I've lost 2 of my 3 games, I've been having a blast this whole time, and for me, that's all I really care about. I feel like in the games that I lost, I mostly just lost due to rushing in some of my decision making. Even if I would have lost anyways, I could have still done a little bit better, at least MVP race wise. But like I said, all I really care about is having fun. I like team building and coming up with fun new ideas. So I'm just excited to keep playing more games, and maybe I'll make playoffs this season. Who knows?
Well, once again, I am bottom of the charts, but that's no big deal. I do have some fresh new ideas for losers bracket. I mean, just in general, I'm a little wary about my next matchup, just because I know that Connor is kind of a veteran. I'm a little wary of Connor, and the rest of my matchup doesn't look. It does look a little foreboding, but I'm hoping that maybe the changes that I just made, and I might make a couple more changes before team switching is locked, but I'm hoping that the kind of swapping out some of my, like for instance Swampert, I wasn't really sure what to do with Swampert, and I wasn't really finding any resources online that was helping that too much either, but I'm hoping that swapping out the ones that I was less confident in with ones that I feel like I might be able to do more with will potentially help me out a little bit more.
Well, I want to say I'm planning to win the rest of my games. That was the goal from the start as well. We had some unfortunate mishaps, couple lucky freezes, several lucky freezes.
Dude, that was awesome.
No, it wasn't. It was bad. But no, I am actually surprised that I won any game at all so far. So I'm happy enough with that, to be totally honest. Really, all I'm hoping for is that my ELO rating is more than 1 at the end of the season. So if I'm more than 1, I'm happy.
Now, okay. I could sit here and just kind of brush off the fact that Josh and Isaiah are, I don't want to say they're bad opponents, they're very good opponents, but I feel like us three are definitely at the bottom of the list. But even then, all of my battles have been good, and I feel like that shows that I'm growing as a Pokemon player. And so my performance this season is definitely advanced than it was in, say, Season 2. I think it's because I've really kind of loosened the leash on my gimmick. I know my gimmick was using object Pokemon, but then I have like Slacking, I've got Phalanx, I've got Porygon Z to my team. Which, you know, people can come on this video and say, oh, he's not using Objectmon, but in a league where I've been dead last almost every season, I gotta make a change. I think it's time, not this season, but maybe next, to drop gimmicks and just go for the win. We'll see what happens. I know I'm played off. I know when during the draft, Eric was talking about how I was one of the most fun players to watch because I go into every game with a different strategy, and it's all been set up for this season and maybe next.
Well, I'm right on schedule. If you guys have been paying attention to what I've been saying like every week, how I'm going 5-3 and losing the first round of the playoffs, we're right on schedule. I made a win-loss on who I think I'm gonna beat, who I think I'm gonna lose to, and I've been right so far. And the only reason that I was so confident is because I feel like my Pokemon skill and knowledge can get me so far, but the team I drafted can't. So I think that the people more knowledgeable than me will beat me. Who it is, I'm not going to reveal it yet, but
we'll see.
One of them's William. Actually, the pressure's on the opponents who are supposed to beat me, because if I lose, if they lose against me when I was supposed to lose, then I have to find someone else to lose against to still go 5-3.
It's the mind games in your head.
Yes. It's kind of how this season's been going for me, just taking it easy, not putting any pressure on myself.
Yeah, and don't get too stressed.
It's been fun.
All right.
In singles, I always had so much pressure on myself, like, oh, I have to win. But doubles, I just know that I probably won't, so that's okay.
Well, let's see what I have here on the little spreadsheet. Oh, look at that. It says 0-3. No, honestly, I'm feeling, at the time of recording at least, I'm 0-3. Now, so far, I'm actually pretty happy with my performance in the draft, mainly because all of my battles so far have been a lot of fun. They've been the most fun battles I've had, in large part because doubles is, so much more gimmicky, and I love that. And one thing you can't say about my battles is that they're not boring. Right? They're all very interesting in all different ways, and my goal this league is just to, create a different gimmick for every single team that at least does something. Every single time I want a different gimmick, and I want to see it, get just one kill off some weird strategy they're not expecting, then I count that as a win. So I'm accomplishing that.
Mm-hmm. How about your upcoming performance? Are you any thoughts about that?
Any thoughts about how I think I will perform given who I'm going up against?
Yeah.
Like I said, I've prepared Ben's team somewhat. I'm like halfway through, and it's already looking very gimmicky. So I'm looking forward to that one. And really, I hope to keep that going forward. I hope to get, like I said, at least 1 or 2 kills off of each gimmick that I try out, and that's the goal. That's the goal.
So I think my draft turned out super well. I think going last was a great boon for me. Being able to get Jianpao and Dragonite as my top 2 was like super, super lucky. But I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like I'm letting some of my Pokemon down. I think I set myself up for like success, and I think I should be playing better. This last week versus Eli, I felt like I was playing super, super well. And I think it's a combination of that's the first game I played on computer rather than on mobile. Mm-hmm. And it's also the first game that I chose not to set the timer for. If Eli wanted the timer, I was going to let them put it on, but that definitely took off a lot of the pressure. Whereas I feel like, especially in my game versus Jake, I felt like I played pretty horribly. And I think a lot of it was I didn't even know how much time I had, and I was just trying to make moves as quickly as possible. And
yeah.
I lost to the same, he Terra-Fairy'd his Hisuian Typhlosion 2 games in a row. And the second game, I should have seen it coming, but I was just rushing through, and I didn't even consider that Terra was a mechanic. So I think just game awareness has been lacking on my end. I feel like my fundamentals are solid enough that like the games are close, but I think I should be doing like even better than I am, and I think part of that is like I feel kind of a lot of pressure, honestly. Kyle's kind of been like the main perpetrator of it, but I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a bit, but I have some of the most doubles experience in the league, and I've got arguably the best draft. So it's ultimately like, if I lose, it's almost like an upset, and I hate to be in a situation where the odds are in my favor, I guess.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up because like everybody in the league kind of knows you as the VGC guy, you know, quote unquote, and so then there's like a lot of that expectation put on you to be like, oh yeah, he's gonna sweep the league, you know, and then of course you have Champo Dragonite, which we'll get into in a little bit, but you have that, and then arguably one of like the most solid team structures in the league, and so there's just a lot of that pressure, and then I feel if you lose, then it's automatically like, oh my god, and it could like, you know, kind of ruin your flow, I guess, your mental state.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself.
Feeling good. It's funny looking back with week 1 having a completely different team than I have now. It's interesting. I'm not used to playing with weather. Granted, it's a lot easier when it's doubles to do a strategy like weather, trick room, all that stuff, but it's a lot to get used to figuring it out, and I mean, I feel like I've been playing it at least somewhat well, not getting swept by you. Also being able to pull out a win against Connor, you know, like I had some tough opponents and, you know, still holding my own with it.
How are you feeling about your upcoming performance against future opponents?
I feel like I've got some very, very tough opponents in my lineup, but I think I had a big burst of difficulty in the start with, you know, you and Connor and William and Eric as my first 4 is insane. I think I get a little bit of a break coming up here with Chris and Eli being a bit newer to Pokemon. Hopefully shouldn't have as big of a struggle with them. And then going back to difficulty with Josh and Gabby to finish it off is a little concerning. Yeah.
Especially since Gabby's like probably number 1 in the league. I don't actually have the schedule or the standings up, but she's got
I'm hopeful, but I'm not too optimistic about.
I'm feeling pretty good about it overall. It's a lot better than I thought I was going to be doing. Gonna get the Landers, gonna get my Klefki, gonna get my Sylveon, my Snorlax. Though I will say it made me real sad to learn in the team showdown during the initial team building to learn that Snorlax no longer learns extreme speed. I was like, no way they took that away.
Wait, he learned extreme speed?
I'm pretty sure he did back in X and Y. He can either learn it through like breeding when he like a Munchlax was born and he had it, or just by some other way. But he learned. He was able to learn it back then. But overall, I think it's been pretty good. My first round, you know, the first week, both of us really didn't know what we were doing. We were just kind of hitting buttons, see what worked. Second round, it was really like a test for my knowledge that I learned up to that point, and I think it worked out really well, especially against that what is it? The Komodo? Yeah, that one. You know, learning how it had a body press setup going, how it had, you know, my Sylveon couldn't do anything because I gave it hyper voice and it had the soundproof ability, and how I had to use Volcarona with the Terraform fire to like really get the damage in there last second. Like I'm getting better and better as things going on, and I expected to lose a lot more than I have so far. So far being like 2-1 makes me feel pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. It's more than I thought I was gonna do.
Firstly, I believe I'm 1-3, which obviously, you know, we always wish we could do better. But I came into the season honestly wanting 1 win, just something to get on the board, some experience, and so I accomplished that week 2. I was very, very happy with that. Admittedly, the other 3 games have been pretty rough. The 3 losses that I've had, but like I said, I feel like it's definitely like a learning experience. Week 1, I walked in and basically my movesets were all over the place. I didn't really understand fully how the Terra types had worked yet, and I'm still learning kind of all of these things, but I can feel myself getting better every single week. Like I'm coming in with, I think, slightly better game plans every week. Now, I believe that my game plans are still miles below what other people that have been playing for a couple of seasons are, what their game plans are and their ability to adapt and stuff. But right now, I feel pretty decent about how everything's going, and I'm hoping that by the end of the season, I'm able to get 1 or 2 more match W's on my record.
Yeah, and this is your first time doing competitive Pokemon ever. Like, nobody's gonna expect you to take home an entire season. But I think the big thing is just like focusing on learning and having
Absolutely.
a positive mindset and outlook on that. I think that's the most
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm the other thing is I'm really trying to. I know that most of these games I'm going in as like the massive underdog, but the main thing is that for both myself and for the people that I'm playing, I want to at least try and make it somewhat competitive. So I've been really trying to, like I said, come up with at least game plans and like, you know, a plan A, a plan B. I'm definitely not at the point where I'm coming up with C, D, E, but at least something to where like I'm able to have fun, the viewers are able to have fun, and that my opponent's able to have fun, and it's not just a train wreck every single week like it was the first week. 'Cause the first week was definitely a train wreck.
What were your plans for your team going into the draft, and then how did your strategy sort of evolve over the coming weeks with trades and like free agents and whatnot?
Well, I originally wanted Pelipper because of Iron Jugulus. And I was thinking, okay, well, Pelipper would go great with Iron Jugulus, and so I was kind of building around Pelipper. And then I noticed, oh, nobody is choosing Torkoal. So then I picked it because I didn't want anybody to like pick Torkoal and use him against me. So now it's kind of tricky because my team is at a weird spot where I kind of started trading some Pokemon, so now it's kind of more sun orientated. Yeah, we'll see if I change it, like fully commit to either rain or sun or something, but it's kind of tough playing around that and being able to figure out what I want to do.
So you actually didn't plan on doing a sun and rain team from the
I
beginning?
did not.
Wow.
No, I didn't. I was just planning on doing. Well, I kind of go with the flow here. I look at, okay, what do I want to play? Like, what would be fun to play? And Iron Jugulus was available, so I'm like, okay, well, I want to build around Iron Jugulus. Then during the draft, I was kind of like taking suggestions because I wasn't sure. And then I was looking at my team. I'm like, maybe I should build for sun and rain. Now it's kind of like mostly sun. But I did bring out rain during Nathan's game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
Actually, I thought you picked up sun only because before the stream, I think Eric was talking about how Torkoal is slow and so he can override the rain. And then you took it just because he said that.
Yeah, I took it because I knew it was slower than Pelipper. I had to look it up on Showdown. And then I'm like, well, somebody might choose Torkoal, so I should just choose Pelipper and Torkoal. That way I'm not, like, counterpicked.
Yeah, that's
and
big brain.
I'm kind of glad I did, but the issue with that is when you have 2 teams that you're working with, there's not many overlapping Pokemon, so it's kind of hard to build around. And I'm finding that out, especially since I don't spend as much time building my teams as other players or, like, doing calculations. So I might have to switch up my strategy just a little bit.
For me, I went in with the mindset that I was just going to take the singular best available Pokemon because I didn't know anything about doubles and I did zero preparation for the draft, or almost no preparation for the draft. Me and some other people, we got together and kind of like looked at all like of the S tiers and we're just like, okay, what can we do with these? But I'm going to be honest, I was mostly just picking the best available Pokemon and the Pokemon that I just thought would be good. A lot of my team actually came together after the draft. I immediately dropped Grimmsnarl for Indeedee, and from there I just ended up picking a lot of the like Psysweep, expanding force Pokemon after that. So Iron Crown and Espeon. Yeah, it just kind of evolved more into expanding force sweeping over the coming weeks. And I did get Urshifu Rapid Strike as I drafted first, which was really nice. But honestly, like, I think it's those expanding force has been carrying my team a good amount this season.
I kind of knew from the start that I wanted to draft Raging Bolt, and I kind of formulated my entire draft around that. I didn't actually decide to draft Pincurchin until like the day before the draft, because Sneasler was already on my list, so I was like, that would be a good pick. Iron Moth was already on the list too, because some Smogon article said that they worked well together. And I didn't realize... So, man, I don't know if I should expose this. No, I will.
So Rising Voltage, I don't know if I talked about this before. Rising Voltage is base 70 power, 100% accurate, and then it gets double its base power in Electric Terrain when the opponent is grounded. So that becomes 140 base power, Electric Terrain boosted, Stab boosted, Electric Type move on Raging Bolt, that's 100% accurate. And I didn't discover that also until like the day before the draft. And what's even more awesome about that is Raging Bolt is the only mon that runs Rising Voltage in Gen 9, which is hilarious.
So I feel like I accidentally stumbled into my comp in the best way possible, because Iron Moth works great, Sneasler worked great when I still had it, and I miss it very much. I regret giving it away, but I'll get to that. It was just such a great, happy little accident, and I think it's fair to call it an accident, because I wish I could be like say I was super smart and be like, I had this planned from day one.
I was
but
so
no,
big-brained.
it just kind of happened. But from there, I think I've adapted really well in trying to maximize that comp as much as possible. After the draft, we were thinking about like, what if there was a prankster electric terrain setter? And then we looked at your team like, And then I'm like, I'm never getting Thundurus. And then I think it was that very week where you dropped him. And so I text William, I'm like, holy shit, dude, Thundurus is open. And then I wasn't gonna do it, because I had to drop either Ogerpon or Sneasler. And William convinced me to drop Sneasler. I haven't tried Thundurus yet, so I can't say if it's a good or bad choice thus far. Especially because Pincurchin is a much better guy than you might expect. When you max out HP, like he can take at least one hit, which is more than I think I was expecting. Memento is really good, even though I have to play down Amon. Being able to drop attack that much is so strong. It just completely neuters some mons. Despite seemingly making a stupid choice, it's actually like such a calculated maneuver. Granted, playing 3v4 is not super fun, and that's kind of why I ended up picking up Thundurus. But then I quickly realized I don't have a Fake Out Mon anymore. And I was using Sneasler mostly for Fake Out anyway.
Yeah.
Like, Dire Claw is fun. I got a double full para on Alex week 1, but I think that's the most I got off of it. Unburden Acid Spray, combined with the fucking ridiculousness of Rising Voltage, is criminal. Oh yeah, there's also the Rain mode, I guess, which is mainly there to cover the very blatant ground weakness that my team has. And I haven't experimented with it that much because it's just not quite as strong as my Electric Terrain mode. And I guess I could go back to this. I originally picked up Pincurchin because I was like, what if I did Electric Terrain boosted Thunder in the rain?
With Pincurchin?
With Pincurchin. And then I'm like, or with Raging Bolt, sorry. And then that's when we discovered Rising Voltage, and it does more than Thunder in the rain anyway. And that's why I thought Thundurus was a pretty decent pickup for me, because it can do rain and electric terrain. Like, it just kind of does both, on top of being a really good support mon. So I think it'll do some stuff once I figure out how to use it well. But yeah, I kind of yapped for a little bit, but that's kind of how my team has developed.
So for me, my plan was, it's too hard to think about every single possible draft situation that I could end up in, because, so many of the guys I want to use are good, and I didn't really have a strategy in mind. So rather than commit my my mind to getting exactly what I wanted, I just went into the draft more or less blind and improvised from there. I ended up grabbing Como, which I think is a lot of fun, and then I kind of ended up trying to make the rest of my draft work around that Pokemon. Well, I made a couple trades, but it was really just for the things in the bottom half because I felt like what I had really wasn't going to get taken ever. So now I have a few new tools that I might break out if I feel like I want to have something new and fun to spice things up. I feel like, generally speaking, my team, even though I have something like Como that kind of relies on boosting its stats, my team is a little less gimmick dependent than some of the other ones and is more of a generic balance team in a way. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the only benefit is that it's somewhat adaptable to whatever I need it to be. If I need my team to be more defensive or slower or faster, or whatever I need in a given week, I can tweak some things around to make it fit that, and I don't need my one strategy to work every single week, unlike someone who might need a particular weather condition active for their team to be functioning right.
My main plan was starting with, like, kind of focused on the idea of Regigigas and Weezing, because I was really into that combo. That was a combo that I knew about before the draft, and I was excited to give it a try. I'm hoping to try some different stuff. I actually didn't find out until after my second battle that I had a misconception of Regigigas' ability slow start. I thought that it made Regigigas inactionable for his first 4 turns. Mm-hmm. And then when I realized that wasn't the case, I was like, oh, hey, I could actually maybe use him without Weezing. He's definitely optimal with Weezing, but
yeah, for sure.
It's not like I have to pocket him the moment Weezing is gone. And also, I've been having to kind of adapt to what Fluttermane can do, because when I drafted Fluttermane, I actually didn't really know what the Pokemon could do, and I didn't realize that it was so capable of being a threat by itself. I noticed that a lot of my Mons know ground-type moves, and I didn't really have anything particularly to gain from ground-type moves, I guess, but some of the people in the draft have a lot of weaknesses to ground, which was just a kind of a happy accident, and that's partially why I picked up Crocodile the other day. I've swapped out Swampert for Crocodile to have some more ground-type happening and to just have an actual... Because none of the Mons on my team are ground-type. They know ground-type moves, but none of them are actually ground-type. That being said, I'm still not 100% sure what I'm going to do with them. And
Crook's a good Pokemon.
I don't think I have a lot of good support on my team. I mean, aside from Weezing and Clefairy, I kind of feel like they're the only good support on my team. Chargebug has a fun little thing in there. It's a fun idea, and I still want to use it more. But aside from Chargebug's ability, it doesn't really have a lot going for it.
Okay, so my draft plan was honestly kind of centered around the idea of Perish Trap, which is funny considering I haven't even tried to go for it. But I'm keeping you guys on the ropes. You'll see it eventually. Because if I bring it every single week, it's too predictable. I try to bring something different every week, or maybe not necessarily different, but I just try to keep it random. So if I bring something one week, it almost feels too predictable to not bring it the next week. So I might bring a slight variation and do the same thing again, but slightly different, tunes to the same team, or I might just do something entirely off the rails. Funny enough, actually, a lot of my draft prep I did with ChatGPT because I was curious. Most of what I did was I gave it the lists of all of the Pokemon in each tier, and then I was basically just like, all right, here's the Pokemon, here's what I'm trying to do, give me 5-6 backups for every single one. And so realistically, it was mostly for the backups. The basic plot I had down, and I actually got my first choice, I think, for every single Pokemon. Mm-hmm. So I didn't end up using any of the backups that it had suggested, but I still ended up making some trades because obviously it's ChatGPT. It knows literally nothing about Pokemon. So, but it was funny to test it out and see what it would come up with. which it has some good thoughts, but it's also still ChatGPT. You know, it still tells me to pick the same Pokemon twice from time to time.
Like I said, I was drafting object-based Pokemon, but the biggest thing that I wanted to pick up was the Slacking and Wheezing combo. I saw Slacking in the draft, and I'm like, okay, I have to search for Wheezing. Wheezing has to be in the game. I see Wheezing, and I'm like, this is genius. This is a goated combo. And when I saw Wheezing, I'm like, okay, well, what do I want to do with the rest of my team? And what inspired me to do object-based Pokemon is a run of Pokerogue that I did.
Oh.
That was all Objectmon, and I'm gonna be honest, it didn't go very far, but it was so fun. I feel like Objectmon get a lot of hate nowadays. People are saying Pokemon are running out of ideas. Like Klefki got a lot of hate. Cryogonal got a lot of hate. Vanillish got a lot of hate just because they were objects. I wholeheartedly believe objects make the Pokemon world. And so I'm showing them the respect that they deserve. Plus Slacking and Phalanx and Porygon.
Well, I really wanted Phalanx, but Ben drafted him. And then I realized that my huge Giga Brain strategy wouldn't have worked anyway. I just recently learned that the abilities Defiant and Competitive only trigger when a foe targets you, not a teammate.
Oh.
So I had all sorts of plans targeting Phalanx with like a parting shot or something that would lower his stats, and then Defiant would boost his attack. But it just doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But I went with the sheer cold strategy. I didn't actually use sheer cold at all, but I did eventually drop that for some other Pokemon that I think would just fit better in general. That set really works good when you're not specifically planning for someone else, like in draft. I think we're learning a lot this season that a lot of things that normally work in doubles doesn't work as well in draft because you can plan for it. What we're finding is that is strong are just things that are strong in, well, I guess I'm kind of backtracking because the strong in general, I just said, is hard to plan for when it's drafts, but I feel like just the more structurally sound things.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a collide. If something that relies like on a gimmick, that usually doesn't work too well in draft because again, if you see it, you can plan around it and it's not as threatening. But those things that are like actually oppressive, like let's say I guess Trick Room, Weathers, some just like really strong Pokemon like Raging Bolt, or Fluttermane, those Pokemon that are strong in VGC are also strong in draft just because they are just that good.
So my strategy was I wanted to pick Dondozo Tatsugiri because I thought it would be funny. And I have not changed my team once since then. Here's the thing. I never do more than like 1, maybe 2 trades. I don't think I'm doing any trades this season because all I need is Tatsugiri, Dondozo. I'm having fun right now. The only reason I would trade is if I'm not having fun. And sometimes I might not, do the obvious strategy, but he just seems. I thought for sure someone would try to take Dondozo from me. I thought for sure I wouldn't be the one to take Dondozo Tatsugiri. I think everyone kind of like had that as like a thing in the back of their mind when they were planning out their teams and just went, it's not like that good, plus someone else will take it, right?
Yeah.
And then turns out no one wanted to take it because of that.
If I'm going to be completely dead ass, right?
Go ahead.
My plan going in was if I get first or second, I draft one of the Urshifus. And then I just kind of draft whatever S tier speaks to me after that. I did not have a solid plan going in, but I did. I see that the last question is like shout out, and I'm going to jump ahead on that one and give a big shout out to a Smash player friend of mine, Alice Luminescence. Everybody root for her at the Minnesota 2-2. Oh no, this is probably going to go up after the 2-2 summet. But
we'll root for her and previous and after.
Yeah. No, I talked to her and like, it's like, any advice for doubles draft? And she was like, if you can draft Chimpao and Dragonite, do it. and that was like her one piece of advice.
Nice. And then it happened.
And then it happened. I would not be running Pow Knight if it weren't for Alice. But
let's go.
Honestly, I wasn't planning on making any trades until Jake was like. I think it would be really funny to frame it as like he approached me in the middle of the night and begged me for my Venusaur. he kind of begged me for my Venusaur. I didn't need Empoleon. I was relatively happy with my draft, but I think in terms of bulky waters, Empoleon works probably better on my team than Slowbro did.
Mm-hmm.
Slowbro was just kind of like a dedicated anti-Trick Room Pokemon. I have several Pokemon, or I think at least Metagross knows can learn Trick Room. I've got options.
Oh yeah.
Right. I really wanted Fluttermane because fucking Wolfie, Perish Trap, all that. And then I was 12th in the draft order, so like no universe that was happening. I was surprised that Ursaluna was still around when it was my turn and figured I need to pick it. It's a really, really good Pokemon. And then I realized I'm not good at drafting Trick Room. So like partway through my draft, my strategy changed to be like, I love Skill Swap, it's funny. And did that weirder shenanigans we saw in week 1. As I was prepping for that week 1 game with Gabby, I realized, oh god, this team does not feel good at all. So, like Gabby William helped me figure out there's a crap ton of Sun Pokemon that were left on the draft board. So here we are.
Yeah, Sun.
And it's been working.
Having a draft that's good on paper is not always the best draft for you.
Mm-hmm. And especially with doubles being very new to me. Yeah, some stuff that I thought would be like, okay, yeah, I mean, Mousehold next to Terrakion is crazy, but like, once you start playing it, you realize, oh, you don't always get to click what you want to click.
Yeah.
Going into the draft, harpens back to, my competitive knowledge being very Gen 6 oriented and not the new generations. I was gonna try to get Pokemon that I knew I was gonna be comfortable with using in some shape or form. So obviously, my first pick was gonna be Landers, and then my second pick, if I had the chance, was absolutely gonna be Whimsicott, because I have used both of them both in the past in singles and doubles before. And then what I wanted to get then was a Pokemon that can take damage and like live and like be my tank, have 2 or 1 setup Pokemon and another support Pokemon if needed. So since it was with my Gen 6 Pokemon or under essentially, I had Volcarona and Sylveon as my next choices. Sylveon has the pixelated ability, which makes it really good to use, Hyper Voice in this case, or as I talked about with someone else, the Hyper Beam setup you can do. You really don't do that.
Yes.
That's always a fun thing to do. So at that point, I was like, all right, I have like a support Pokemon, I have a physical attacker Pokemon, I have my 2 like setup Pokemon I want to use if needed. What other Pokemon can I need? So Snorlax is one for a good tank. Personally speaking, I think Normal type's a really good defensive type since it doesn't have any weaknesses. My other Pokemon was going to be Clefly, because back when I used, back in my single days at least, Clefly, with the Prankster ability, was able to use, Reflect, Light Screen, Protect, all these good moves to like boost your defenses of your team.
Yeah.
And my other like draft picks just kind of haven't really been doing anything for me just yet. But looking through the teams and like the draft Pokemon yet, I can make some creative choices and get some neat teams going.
I dropped one right at the I dropped Jolteon, and I can't remember what I picked up. I think it was Dreadnought. And then specifically for the matchup against Josh, I ended up dropping Berserker, I think was the name of it.
Yeah.
And I picked up Scyther. Yeah, those are the only 2 moves that I've made so far. When it came to the first night of the draft, the only pick I was able to make was Incineroar. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really have a strategy going into it, just because, like I said, I was so inexperienced with it. So I felt very fortunate that I was able to kind of see the moves that you had made to flesh out my my round or my day 1 picks.
Right.
And for day 2, I really kind of just went for. Honestly, I was just looking around and I was going for kind of like beefy, type diverse Pokemon. Basically, my idea was I knew this season was going to be a lot of learning, so I was like, let's just try and get it so that my Pokemon aren't dying the first turn they're out there, and I can at least have like, 2 to 3 turns with them to at least try and like figure out like, basically what stuff does.
Yeah.
I think next year I'm going to try and do some more specific strategies, but for this year that's honestly kind of what it was, especially after seeing what my team looked like after day 1. I was like, let's just try and get a bunch of different types with a lot of health, a lot of defense, and let's just kind of learn as we go, you know what I'm saying?
So you have to nominate one Pokemon on your team as MVP. So who's it going to be?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, honestly, I wouldn't. Surprisingly enough, I'm not gonna choose Iron Jugulus. I know, which is crazy to me. I think the MVP for me this season has been Torkoal. Torkoal has been an MVP for me. Just because he has such good, he's just such a good Sunsetter Pokemon, and he's really scary. If I played against Kyle correctly, I probably could have taken one set from him with Torkoal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, otherwise it would be Pelipper too. Pelipper's kind of nice to have because he sets up rain and he has wide guard, but yeah, otherwise that's about it.
I was like, yeah. It might be Iron Jugulus, but I'll ask anyway just in case.
Yeah, it's. I know, I'm shocked too, but I don't know. He's kind of not been performing. I don't think I've set him up for success this season, so that's something
that
for
only
next
makes
time.
sense though.
I think right now it is easily Indeedee. I feel like every single game just have a lot less that I need to worry about, and it does such a good job of setting up an expanding force, but it also does such a great job supporting with follow me, mostly follow me honestly, and helping hands. That's kind of what I've been using it for, is just follow me. But it also gets Dazzling Gleam, which I've used a couple times, setting up Trick Room, which I did once, but there's just so many options, and I just feel a lot safer every time I have to bring it, and it's really kind of what's been enabling my whole team to run protection from priority and expanding force, and then great support just all around. Without Indeedee, Iron Crown would be completely and utterly washed, and even when you're looking at the draft or the MVP race right now, like, SP1 isn't even that far behind, and again, it's for the exact same reasons that Iron Crown is so high. It's because it has an DD there to support them.
And what about the Ting-Lu?
Ting-Lu had its moment. It's the GOAT, but I just haven't brought in enough this season. If I were to bring it every game, and if it kept doing the things it was doing, I would say that it's my MVP. But maybe I just need to bring it more. It did really good in my last battle. So never know.
Ooh. Shit. I think it might be. Oh, this is hard. It's a toss-up between Pincurchin.
Yes.
And I want to say Raging Bolt, but like last week, Raging Bolt didn't do that much.
But the Raging Bolt is so high on the MVP list for a reason.
He is, and I'm so proud of him. I am so proud of him. And what's so funny about that is Pincurchin's at the very bottom and Raging Bolt's at the very top, and I'm like, I've got a sandwich going on here. Yeah. I think part of me wants to say Sneasler too, honestly. It put in work when I still had it. Mm-hmm. I keep yapping to my friends, or William and Jake and Eli specifically, that you need to be clicking Fake Out and you need to be taking advantage of it as much as possible. and then I don't think they take me super seriously, but like it's so powerful. And the poison touch fake out from what 2 days ago, dream come true. I was so happy when that happened. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna give it to Pincurchin because even if it's dying in turn 1 a lot of the time, it's the reason that this team exists in the first place. And so maybe he isn't the strongest quote-unquote member, but he is the most beloved, I will say.
He's the most valuable player.
There you go.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of give a double answer on this. I feel like unlike many other teams, my team is not really centered around my S tier. My A tier Como is far more the star of my team. It's what a lot of what I was building was kind of planned around. Partially just because it has a number of different sets it can run. It's not just a single strategy type of Pokemon. So it's been a lot of fun to try to come up with ideas that work well for it. I just had wanted to throw on there as the S tier I ended up taking was Rillaboom, but I just thought it was funny that this thing that's usually phenomenal in traditional VGC formats has honestly been somewhat of a hindrance this season, considering how every single team has so many grass resists that I find it rather difficult to actually find value out of my S tier, and the remaining ones don't really call my name all that much. So I almost feel like, well, I think it's not unreasonable for your A tier to be the MVP of your team. I do find it funny how my S tier, I haven't even really been using it at all.
Fluttermane's been putting in some good work, although I haven't really been able to pull out the true potential of my team for the most part, but Fluttermane's been putting in some pretty good work. I think most of the kills that I've been getting have been with Fluttermane. But also Weezing's been putting in a lot of legwork just with neutralizing gas, and the fact that even if I don't have Regigigas on the field at the moment, Weezing is still disabling the abilities of Mons I'm going against. So it does do a lot for me. It's a little difficult to say because I definitely have Mons that are putting in a lot of legwork, but I do not quite have the know-how or the experience to utilize their potential. And I'm not trying to knock myself or anything. I'm just kind of saying like, well, this is kind of how it's been going. Which one is more? I feel like I've probably been getting more value out of Weezing in the way that I've been using them.
Yeah.
So probably Weezing.
Yeah. So I've also kind of I've got two Pokemon that kind of really speak to me, and it's funny enough, the two that I ended up trading for, Regidrago and Primarina, I just really like the way that they feel when I play them. None of my other Pokemon really, when I'm clicking moves, it feels like they do a lot of damage and they don't take a lot of damage. And that just generally is how it feels, and I go, okay, I like this. I'd argue that my team is like the least focused around my S tier, truthfully. Because my S tier he's a utility Pokemon. He shows up sometimes if I feel it would be useful to put another Pokemon to sleep, or if I need Rage Powder to, get Trick Room up or something like that. The use case there is just less. He's not quite as universal of a tool as like Regidrago or Primarina is, where both of those Pokemon are high quality Pokemon and can hit hard and also take a hit.
Oh, I was gonna say, I wanted to comment. I feel like you, Isaiah, myself, and Michael, at least originally, were the three teams that almost fell for the trap of the S tier. It's in S tier because it's really good in regular VGC, but in draft it's far less useful. Because like I was talking about with Rillaboom being somewhat of a hindrance almost on my team, because it doesn't get to do the same type of job that maybe it would be capable of in a regular tournament. And it's the same thing with Amoonguss, where S tiers that play more of a support role are just worth far less than an S tier that hits really, really hard. And
Yeah.
I feel like all three of our teams have kind of suffered because of that, as much as I think we all still liked our S tiers.
Well, the stats don't lie. It says that Arculadon is our MVP after week 1 absolutely demolishing all of Josh's team. He is like my team's MVP. But personally, and I feel like everybody can kind of agree on this, Sableye has been my most reliant Pokemon in terms of gimmicks and pulling through for battles. If it weren't for Sableye in a couple battles, I would not be where I am in placements. And so I'm deeming Sableye as my true MVP this season. He's been my favorite Pokemon since, I don't know, even like 5th grade, I think, maybe even before. And I didn't draft, like you said, singles, I'd never drafted him because he's just such a frail Pokemon and he can't really he can't pull his own weight. But now in doubles, he is finally able to shine.
Well, so far it's been my Alolan Muck. It's so tanky, it can just hit hard. It's gonna move last like every turn, but it doesn't matter because it's just that strong. It's got 2 cool abilities with Poison Touch and then Power of Alchemy to get an ability from a fallen teammate. And as far as stats go, he's been my MVP.
Yeah.
I think coming up though, he hasn't seen any action yet because I just got him, but hopefully Sneasler can be an MVP. I've had him in singles once before. He's just so fast and he can get even faster with Unburden. And my last one that would have to be in that consideration is my Hisuian Arcanine. With the extreme speed, that's been really good. It just hits so hard. Can Terra to get out of the bad type weaknesses. So I think Hisuian Arcanine and Alolan Muck have been my 2 best Pokemon by far.
No, you know what it's gonna be. You take a wild guess.
The Annihilate.
Yeah, but you have a 50-50. Oh, well, you lost it.
Oh, damn it.
You found an answer that wasn't even it. I think Dondozo has gotten the most kills on my team, which is to say a positive amount, which is pretty cool.
Tatsugiri is not the one?
I mean, he did. Has he put in much work?
Alex,
I mean,
think about
he's enabled.
If Tatsugiri wasn't around, then Dondozo wouldn't get the stat boost.
That's true. That's true. Maybe I shouldn't disrespect him.
So you have to nominate one Pokemon as MVP for your team.
Dragonite. It's Dragonite. I mean, look at the MVP race. I've got Dragonite in number 3, and then the next one of mine is my Empoleon at number 20. Like, it's just Dragonite.
It's just Dragonite.
And it's just Dragonite. Yeah. I feel like if I were playing differently, if I were playing better, Champao might be up there. I think I am genuinely letting Champao down a little bit. There's a meme I saw like a while ago that was like, OU players versus low tier players are so funny because OU players are gonna say like, oh, Kingambit into Great Tusk is so unwinnable, and low tier players are like, I'm letting Minior down. I really think that I'm not making good use out of Qianpao. Mostly it's just been like sitting on the field and putting up Sword of Ruin for E-Speed, but I think I should be using it differently. And I think part of it is that I haven't gotten to run it with Focus Sash yet, so it's a little bit harder to know like if it'll survive or whatever. So I tend to play more safe, more conservative. So I think that's part of why I haven't been getting a lot of value out of my Glass Cannon. But yeah, as it stands right now, it's Dragonite. Put a ban on that guy, but just have him Terra Normal E-Speed. It's a flawless plan.
Choose to
It's
lose.
my favorite Pokemon, by the way. Favorite Pokemon of all time is Dragonite.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what you said in the previous interview.
Yeah, continuity.
That's awesome. That's awesome. When your favorite Pokemon is also MVP.
Yeah, no, that's my goat.
See, I feel like it really has to be Ninetales because of Drought, but like that's such a lame answer, so I'm gonna go with Exeggutor because he's funny.
Let's go! I thought he was
He's
gonna
great.
say Wake. Wake's been putting in the work for you.
Wake has been pretty good, but like, I just like my Eggy boy.
That's cool. I love how you named your executor Zorro. I was like, yes.
It fits so well.
He's green. He's got green hair.
Green-haired and 3 heads.
Oh my god, you're right. I didn't even think of that.
This might be an interesting pick, because I feel like if other people looked at my team and seen what it's done so far, they'd either pick Sylveon or maybe my Landers because of what Landers can do. But I would actually pick my Snorlax so far.
Wow.
Because in most of my games, Snorlax has always been able to switch in like as a Pokemon, and it couldn't do too much damage in my current setup that I had for it, but it was always able to take a hit and survive, and then dish, and then like either give my Pokemon time to set up themselves or just take a hit that would otherwise kill a Pokemon on my team.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think that survivability has really helped my team so far in winning those interactions.
I thought it would be
So, yeah, I
like
would pick-
Volcarona or Klefki.
Oh yeah, Klefki hasn't done too much. Klefki helped out a lot in like a couple games here and there, but there are other games where Klefki has been like pretty shut down pretty quickly for what it can do.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Volcarona, other than in that one match against the Komodo where I was able to really get it going, it hasn't done too much either just yet. But I think it's just because it hasn't fought against teams where it could excel.
I mean, I hate this. It's funny because I think it's like my D tier or like my C tier. But every game, I genuinely feel like it's my glue Pokemon, and I don't know why. Like I can't go, even though they're a lower tier. I'm like, I have to have this Pokemon in here. So I'm gonna my nominee is gonna be Hariyama.
Yes, dude, I love Hariyama. Hariyama is one of my favorite Pokemon.
I don't know. Just now, I re-looked at my team's stat sheet, and I just noticed how low of a tier Hariyama is, and I was a little surprised. I was like, wow, I thought this was like one of my B tier picks, and I was like, no, this is like C or D tier. So I was a little surprised by that. And I feel like because Hariyama also has a lot of like kind of cool like move options. Like I always have a ground move attached to them because I feel like people just aren't expecting it, and then I hit them with a ground move, and they're like, I like Headlong Rush. I think, or that maybe that's a fighting move. I don't know, but I know I always have Headlong Rush on.
Yeah,
there,
that's a great move.
Yeah, Headlong Rush is a great move. It's gotten me many KOs. Well, a couple KOs.
Next question here is, what is the most wanted format that you'd want to play in the league?
Ooh, that's a good question too. Most wanted is triples. I think it'd be fun if we brought back like Gen 5, like triples format. I think that'd be interesting. Oh, maybe Gen 8 Gigantamax. Just bring that back. That'd be fun. Like do a Gen 8 draft. Otherwise, I would love to do like a Gen 1 only.
Oh.
Like good old-fashioned Gen 1 randoms battle, just for like a off-season kind of thing. That would be so fun, like if we just do random battles.
Oh, kind of like how Jake did the metronome battle?
Yeah, like metronome battle, but it's just like...
with Gen 1 Pokemon?
Gen 1 Pokemon, or just random battles in general.
That would be cool.
Because those are fun, because it's just like... it's more skill-based at that point, and luck. Like, it's luck and skill, like what kind of Pokemon you get, and then how well you play with those Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. And Gen 1 is such a simple format too.
It is. That's what's nice about it.
I don't know if this would be good for a draft, but I think forcing monotype would be a fun idea now that we're doing doubles. Again, that would be very, very matched up dependent, week to week, depending on who you play. I kind of want to try monotype, and this might be a good environment for it, but I don't know how we'd work out typings or who gets what Pokemon or whatnot. So it might be a little bit complicated, but it sounds like a fun idea. How I envision it is you can just draft whoever you want, but when the battle comes, you need to have 6 Pokemon, or if you don't have 6, you have to bring less Pokemon of that type.
Oh.
But you can draft whoever you want, maybe even hate draft someone. You have to bring 6 of this that Cherotype for that battle. That's how I would do it, at least.
That's funny.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a best way to do that. I have not looked into that at all. But that was just an idea.
I would definitely want to do doubles again, of any kind, of any format. As long as it's doubles, I would be all over it. I think I like it way more than singles, and that might be a hot take, but that's just my personal opinion. And honestly, doing all this prep for like my matches this week, it's made me really appreciate VGC as a whole, so I honestly will probably pick that up as a hobby once the season's over.
Yo, I actually do want to do that as well. It's just the time commitment to like actually like making a competitive team in like for real.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely a commitment.
The one thing that I will say that I don't like about VGC as much as singles is that I don't get to use all my Pokemon at the same time. Like,
yeah.
You can use them, like you can bring them between games, but like sometimes it's just like you're never gonna use one Pokemon, and so it's like it feels like a little sad that I can't use all of them. But that's the only thing I don't like.
Yeah, it feels a little wasted, but at the same time, I feel like counterpicking and coming up with just the right combo to, like, say you lost the first game and then you perfectly counter the lead for the next game by bringing in something that you didn't bring the first time, or by like playing the mind games and not bringing something that they expected you to bring. Like, I love the possibilities.
Low tier VGC.
Dude, I was just about to say that.
I think the biggest proponent of the low tier drafts. I just love how, you see things that aren't in every tournament, and
yeah, dude,
weird niche picks ended up being, top of the MVP boards. And I think it would be a lot of fun to give that a run through, but I am aware that isn't, always those popular. People like their Pokemon that are big and strong and hit hard.
Yeah, I want to do a draft where the only Pokemon that are allowed in the draft are Pokemon whose usage rate is so low they don't have a Peakalytics page. Only those Pokemon.
That's like a lot of them though, right?
I know, that's the thing. But it gives us breathing room, and it doesn't. What's the word for it? It gives us breathing room without allowing like heavy hitters or like the really big famous Pokemon.
Like oversaturated.
It forces you to, yeah, right. It forces you to use stuff that's unknown. Uncover those really niche things.
I mean, I don't know a lot of formats, but I do like how doubles has been going so far. I do like the way that format feels. So it could be another doubles thing, but additionally, I also I've been kind of thinking about the idea, and some people have mentioned this as well, the idea of doing a true low tier draft of I was even considering this as an idea for the losers bracket of for just like everybody put your team aside or like remove them or whatever, all the mons in your team, get rid of them, and everybody build for just like all F tiers. Everybody do only F tiers. That was an idea I was considering for losers bracket, but that could be an interesting thing to do in the league in general. So I just think it would be interesting to see what people are able to do with these tiny little babies.
Yeah.
I'm very glad you asked, because I will die by this answer. Monotype battles. Each player drafts one type, and then they have to stick with that type for the entire season.
Ooh.
That's my shining idea. But I know that, you'll get matchups like electric versus ground, which is counterable, but it's going to be tough. And with that, you also get one Pokemon that is not your specific type that you can Terra into your type.
Yeah, like your season 3 team when you went all normal.
Exactly. That's pretty much what it would be.
Sounds like doubles has been enjoyed by people. If we were to do it again, I would highly push for like low tiers, just get all the good doubles Pokemon out of there. So that way we can choose a lot of the lower tier Pokemon without having the fear of opportunity cost. Because I was messing around with like a lot of strategies and like synergy between two Pokemon. I'm like, oh, this one would be good. Oh, he's a D tier or he's an E tier. And I already have multiple of those in my team. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to just drop a good Pokemon just for this one gimmick. But I think doubles, low tier would be cool. And for those people that don't like doubles, I think singles low tier was a lot of fun for the same reasons. Just having the opportunity to use Pokemon that in the right mind you probably shouldn't use if the higher level Pokemon are out there.
Mm-hmm.
Just because if you do, you're probably not going to win. This way you can use those Pokemon and still have a good chance at winning. So I think anything with the lower tiers would be a lot of fun, just so we can get more creative and unorthodox.
Yeah, I think low tier draft sounds like a lot of fun. I actually I started the Smash Bros Extreme thing.
Oh.
I started a Pokemon version of that. And there's like no fake out, no redirection moves, critical hit. There's a ban on critical hits. If you get critical hits more than 3 times in a game, you're disqualified.
Dude, that's actually so hype. Like actually running some meme tournament with that.
Yes. As a joke, I was
hilarious.
gonna post it for the playoffs when we get there. But then it would actually be funny if we did it.
You just died to a critical hit.
Yeah,
Dude,
if you die to a critical hit, then the other person gets disqualified because the rules.
Dude, I'm just thinking of like focus energy and like psycho shift. That's not how it works. But heart swap, maybe? Is that it?
Maybe.
So you give your opponent high crit chance. Trick scope lens.
Yeah, trick scope lens.
Dude, that meta would be insane. It's like the Frieza kill yourself first tournament.
Oh yeah.
Where Steel Beam was meta. Dude, we gotta make this a thing.
I think I answered this last time as well. I want to play with Mega Evolution.
Yes.
Mega Evolution again. Yes, and honestly, I don't think we'll have to wait too long before we start getting that with newer Pokemon, newer Megas out by the end of the year. So, looking forward to that. We might not have to go back in time to an old format to do that, which is exciting.
Yeah, hopefully by then we can play with the new Megas. I've been seeing leaked Mega Evolutions, and I'm not sure if they're real or not. But
oh yeah, I've seen a certain 2 legs. That's about the one that I've seen.
So hopefully, I don't know yet, but I'll be excited to play with those.
Season 6 confirmed.
Season 6 confirmed Mega Evolutions.
I think Nat decks could be really fun. I haven't really thought that much about it. I'm just gonna go with Nat decks because I think it's the most different from what we've done. Especially like, I've got a friend who's also in a draft league, and they have like a Uber's Nat decks going, where like
that's somebody so cool.
Somebody has a team where they burned like all of their points on Mega Ray, and then it's just like a low tier draft after that. Yeah, I think it can be fun. I think points are unfortunately a better format for that than tiers, because I generally like tiers more than points, but for like a format with that crazy level of power level disparity.
Yeah, you'd have to have 13 different tiers.
Yeah,
and like the first 6 are all legendaries.
No, I think it's sick, and I love Megas.
Actually, there's
Natdex singles, for the record. I think Natdex doubles might be a little bit chaotic.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair.
No
That's
idea
totally
how
fair.
that would go.
Oh, this is tough. I'm not sure actually, because like we've done draft singles, we've done a low tier singles, now we're doing this. I mean, part of me wants to say low tier VGC, but like that, I'm not sure how much I want to push for that. I don't know, it seems weird, whatever it's gonna be next.
You know, as almost as a joke answer, dog, Gen 5, when I had the rotation battles, bring that shit back right now. Come on, dude. I don't know how that would work, but it'd be so funny. But if I really had to pick one, because the singles is where I started, so my go-to would obviously to say singles. But that's a little boring because everyone does singles. You do singles when you play through any Pokemon game ever. It's just how it goes.
Yeah.
So how about instead of doing just normal doubles, they can do something like doubles OU or doubles UU, where it's a specific, like, because the draft has the S rank tiered Pokemon, the A rank, B rank, all these Pokemon, and like we follow like the VGC rule, right, for the most part. So instead of doing that, we can do something like random or like double battle OU instead, where it's a similar rule set, but the Pokemon are gonna change even more, and some will be added and taken away. Because I think that would be neat just to look at it at least.
For me, going into next season, obviously doubles I'm getting some experience in, but like we kind of discussed, singles generally has less like complications and like there's so much on my screen, I don't know what's happening. So I think there's I think both of them are pretty good. I know that wasn't the first couple seasons of this league singles, and then last year you guys switched to doubles?
Actually, this is the first doubles thing that we're doing. All the seasons prior were singles.
And if I had to pick one, I would say you could do the whole like Total Drama Island, have like a completely just like cool, unique random season that's randomly doubles, and then all the other ones are singles. But if I had to not use my pop culture brain, I would say I think another year or two of doubles I think could be cool, because I think it feels like when I'm watching the matches, like people are starting to like figure it out more and more and come up with better strategies and stuff. So I feel like it would be interesting to see it play out for like another season.
Are there any shoutouts you want to make to people who've helped you, to fellow coaches or future opponents, or really just anybody in general?
Shout out to all of the new people doing Pokemon Draft League this season. It's super cool seeing how many people joined. Shout out to the organizers, obviously. I was showing like my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, this, and he thought it was super cool how we had a spreadsheet and whatnot. So odd programming there, coding and whatnot, cool. Shout out to my future opponents. You might think you're gonna win, but I won't go down without a fight. So be prepared.
I love it.
Be
I love it.
prepared.
I love it.
And shout out my boy Iron Jugulus for always being there. Even though you might not be doing so well this season, you're still number one in my heart. And if you get drafted away, if you get drafted away, it's no hard feelings. That's it.
I was gonna say till death do they part, but never mind.
No hard feelings, Iron Jugulus. No hard feelings.
Yeah, I do kind of want to shout out some people. So I want to shout out Gabby, Jake, and Eli. We've just like talked about Pokemon, just kind of by ourselves in our own little chat, and it's kind of helped me to like just talk about it and gain passive knowledge in an environment that I feel comfortable in. So that's been really nice. I would also like to thank you, Michael, for not only like running the league and doing everything, but also talking me out of an absolutely cooked decision that I was considering off of free agents. I don't mind saying I was thinking about picking up Wordier because it got Expanding Force, 1-5 special attack, but it got Intimidate and Skill Swap, which I thought was cool, and Helping Hand, but it's just slow as fuck and frail as fuck and doesn't really add a whole lot of diversity to my team, which I kind of think I need running. I already have 3 Psychic Pokemon, so thank you, Michael, for not letting me make a mistake. And then I would also, on a similar note, like to thank the rest of the league for making a mistake and letting me have Iron Crown, Espeon, and Indeedee. Let's go! Yeah. Thank you guys, I love you.
So, yeah, final wrap-up question here. Is there any shout-outs you want to make to the people who've helped you, or to fellow coaches or future opponents in general?
I'm gonna say shout-outs to William. I mean, he got me in the league in the first place, so shout out for that. But I'm gonna say fuck you for making me drop Sneasler. But it's probably gonna be worth it, so thank you in advance. But if I end up eating those words, I guess that's whatever. And I'm also gonna say fuck you again to William if I have to play you in the playoffs, because I don't want to play you in the playoffs. And finally, to Kyle, who now has Sneasler, please treat him well.
Oh,
Make
I thought
him
you were gonna
do
say. I thought you
very
were
good
gonna
war
curse him as
crimes.
well.
Nope, I want to see Sneasler succeed, and I want to see Sneasler fuck some shit up. And I've already played Kyle, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. Unless he makes it to playoffs. And unless I make it to playoffs, I could totally crash out from this point on and never win a single other match, which would be kind of sad because I'm happy to be undefeated at this point.
Yeah,
But
I think you got a. I
we'll
think
see.
you got a solid lead here.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can keep it up.
Isaiah's raising his hand. You got a call on him.
Isaiah.
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's this guy. His name's Eric. Right? Real helpful guy. Really just loves to talk about Pokemon. And you know, I'm pretty new to this whole Pokemon jazz. Like, he's just been such a helpful guy trying to get me in. And now I feel like he sabotages me when we play against each other intentionally. I feel like he leads me down the wrong path.
I can say the same thing.
But you know, he's just been such a good help, such a good coach for, you know, Pokemon in general. But you know, for talking about strategies, how I can improve my team, stuff like that. So, and I am very excited to him later in the season. I think we're gonna have an exciting.
I thought you were gonna shout out ChatGPT.
No, it wasn't helpful at all. Like, we're being so for real.
I think shoutouts to Eric, who's been he has helped me. He's helped me understand my comp a little bit more. I think I might need to ask more questions in general from both him and probably some other people, because like I said, I would like to increase my understanding of what my guys can do, and also I just don't do enough prep work before my battles, so I need to do my homework and learn about what my opponent's mons are capable of before I actually hit the field. And I guess another shout out to, I mean, you don't know this guy and he doesn't even watch the streams, unfortunately. I keep hoping he will, but my friend online, he goes by Polaris. He's really into Pokemon VGC. He's helped me a lot with figuring out a team comp, and he's helped me with kind of replacing some of my mons in the past. And I might go to him potentially for any other changes I want to make to my team moving forward before that gets locked. We'll see.
If you ever do get trapped in a call with Connor and Eric, those two are very Those two are very knowledgeable for like VGC stuff.
But you're absolutely right about the trap part, because I've been in call with Eric several times before about this sort of thing, and he just keeps going. And obviously, no offense to him intended at all, but sometimes it's just like, dude, I gotta go to bed, man. I gotta go to bed. But it's hard to get a word in edgewise, so it's hard to say anything.
Me personally, I'll also give a quick shout out to Isaiah. You gave me a lot of practice games for my match against Eli. And I, not to blame you, I feel like it led me down the wrong path of assuming his Sylveon wouldn't have hyper voice, which, why wouldn't it have hyper voice? That's the most obvious thing ever. But anyways, I guess also just wanted to mention, even though I didn't make any big decisions, I talked to Michael and Connor a lot about trades and just in general things that are good, maybe things that could improve my team and whatnot. But I haven't really gotten a lot of help from anybody. It's been a lot of just trying to figure it out on my own and make the best of what I've got, or like what I gave myself. But I do appreciate everyone else who's been willing to pitch in and give me some advice when I ask for it.
Yeah, you guys said that you guys kiss. I asked Isaiah.
Wait, Michael, how are our cameras arranged? We can
okay, so you're on my left. Okay, no, you got to turn the other way. Then you're facing Isaiah. Yep. And then Isaiah, you got to turn the other way for you. Yep. So now you guys are both facing each other, right? Eric, you're a little bit close. You're a little bit too close to the camera. You got to like back up a little bit. Okay, yeah. That's good. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I put my Isaiah, you want tongue?
No, it's okay.
Oh.
Well, I do want to talk about this because I know Kyle brought it up in a stream, and I want to talk to the fans about this, about what really happened. So I was minding my business one day, planning my team, when I get a DM from Kyle. And Kyle says, "Hey, Ben, I want Phalanx. What can I give for you for Phalanx?" And mind you, I really like Phalanx. I think Phalanx is an important Pokemon on my team, you know, physical attacker in the team of like a lot of special attackers. And so I just wanted to make sure that I had a physical attacker. I then kind of leave them on red. I didn't find anything useful to switch Phalanx with because I wanted Phalanx. And he says, he pushes even further. He says, do you want anybody from my team? And I saw that he had a Alolan Muck. And I said, I want a Alolan Muck really bad. And he said, no. I'm like, okay, are you serious? Because Alolan Muck obviously is an object. He's a pile of goo. And with the ability, Power of Alchemy, he would have been a perfect Pokemon for my team. Nope, wasn't going to give me a Alolan Muck. And you know what? I was fine with that. I kept my Phalanx. My team was going strong. But then I get a text from Gabby after our battle. And Gabby foolishly traded away her Sneasler for something. Thunderous, I believe.
Yep.
And Kyle immediately picked up Sneasler. So Gabby texted me. Kyle told me that he would not give her Sneasler back unless I gave him Phalanx. And so I want to give a shout out to Gabby. Gabby is a great opponent, great person in the league. One of my opponents that I enjoy playing against. And so I wasn't gonna let Kyle get away with this. And so I was trying to find Pokemon that I could replace Phalanx with. But I just couldn't find anything in time because then Kyle texts me, "You're off the hook. His strategy wouldn't work with Phalanx, and so he doesn't want it anymore."
Oh, man.
So Kyle, if you're watching this, you suck, man. You're the worst. You are my rival this season. Despite the other person I want to talk about, you are the worst.
What other person are you going to talk about?
Well, this last week, he had a pretty important battle. I wouldn't say important, rather lucky battle with one of my least favorite Pokemon. True Season 1 fans will know this. But William and his Ting Lu, I can't believe he brought him back. And it only makes me angrier that he hit 2 fissures in a row and then starts to gloat to everybody that Ting Lu is so awesome. Ting Lu is not that cool and deserves not to be drafted ever again. William got lucky. He is not a good player with Ting Lu. And I will die by Ting Lu sucks.
Shoutouts to Gabby for dropping Sneasler so I can have him. Thank you. Shoutouts to William for convincing Gabby to drop Sneasler. Thank you, William. Shoutouts to William for beating me when we play each other. I hope. Otherwise, you did something wrong, William, because you should be able to beat my team. And shoutouts to William because he's just a really nice person. Shoutouts to Michael for always doing these mid-season interviews and making sure everyone is heard. That is awesome. And shoutouts to me for going 5-3 and losing the first round of the playoffs.
So first of all, so we're talking about other people, I just want to say if anyone brings haze in the future, you're a coward. And second of all, thank you for... people really haven't been helping me out too much, but I've been asking for help because, I don't know, I spend a decent amount of time, strategizing and stuff, but not enough that I want to, drag other people into my weird mess. But that being said, I know you guys are, if I ever need some help, if I ever need a funny strategy, you guys have plenty more than I could not have think of. I would say the only person who's given me strategies out of the blue, just because they thought it'd be funny, Eric did give me a really funny strategy that I'm 100% using against someone. I told him not to tell anyone about that. I do face against Eric. What if I bring his own strategy?
Yeah, do it.
I can't now. I said it in the...
No! You're right.
For it.
Yeah. Shout out Alice Luminescence. I want to give, honestly, shout out Gabby, because I was watching the VODs from week 1, and even though I didn't join the stream, I saw her use like I think Electric Seed Unburden Sneasler, but instead of being like an attack Sneasler, it just acid sprayed and she swept with Iron Moth, and immediately I was like, this might be the best player in the league. Unfortunately, the Sneasler is gone, but I think that is my favorite like singular moment of this season so far. That or Adrenaline Orb on Empoleon from Jake, who I shamelessly stole the strategy from. I would not have remembered that Adrenaline Orb is an item if Jake didn't use it to cheese the hell out of Eric.
I forgot it was an item too.
Shout out those people for, I think, the most creative team building moments of the league so far.
I mean, just, I guess, thanks to Gabby and William for helping me figure out what the hell I'm doing with my team. And for the 4 of my future opponents, you're going down, Tubby.
Tubby? Nobody calls me Tubby!
I would say that a shout out to Gabby, William, and Jake. They really invited me to join this draft league in the first place, and it's really been pushing me to get back into Pokemon even more than I already have been, because there's a little bit of lore. I got back into Pokemon cards specifically as a side thing, but the game's not quite yet. You know, I've heard of Scarlet and Violet. It's a fun game, but on the Switch it runs like poo poo dog poo poo. I'm like, okay, that's great. And then the last game I played before that was all the way back in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So it's like, it's been a while. I feel like there's a lot to catch up on. But, you know, Gabby and Jake, they would, you know, before the draft officially started, like a week, they just played games with me and like did everything in their power. You know, even with how frustrated I would get, they would try to help me as best I can. William's a really good like theoretical team builder, I think, and Jake's like a really good like practical team builder. So like on that side of the fence, they're both really good coaches on that sense as well. And then just shout out to my opponents that I've played so far. You know, every single one I have learned new ways to like play the game, like new ways to interact with Pokemon.
Definitely want to shout out Kyle and you for kind of giving me some of the blueprints to at least start the journey. I definitely know that, you know, I could be doing more like more random battles and stuff outside of the league against random opponents or against you guys, but you guys have definitely given me at least like a baseline understanding and a couple more upper level strategies for me to kind of start thinking about and learning. And then Gabby and Josh were super helpful after my battle with both of them, kind of just because so Josh was the week after I won my only game of the season, and then Gabby was this week. And honestly, I went into the Josh match feeling fairly confident, and then I got smoked. Like, he kind of pointed out specifically like some of the things that he expected me to do going into it, and then when I ended up doing that, he kind of gave like, what you could have done is kind of like slide over to this strategy, and then Gabby was just really kind of reassuring that like, hey, you know, like we're all learning, like don't worry about it. So I think overall everyone's been great, and I'm hoping that I continue to learn, and that, like I said, I'm hoping that I can give all my future opponents at least a fun run for their money and make them kind of sweat a little bit. So
and actually I lied, as I always do. I didn't send you.
lied?
I didn't send you the question because I wanted it to be a surprise, but I have one more question for you.
Oh.
All right, but
you even labeled it final question. Okay.
Yep. There's always a final question after the final question.
Hell yeah.
So of course, as always, I always lie when I say I have a final question. I actually have one more question here.
I'm so ready to be done.
What type combination would you say best describes you? And you can't say normal.
Why would I say normal?
I would never say normal. That's too baby basic of an answer.
That's a boring answer. Who said normal?
I can't say normal?
Yeah.
Why can't I say normal? I am so normal.
Damn it! I'm the normal white guy of the group. You can't give me this. Well, yeah, because everyone would be maybe yes, Kyle. He's gonna say fighting. I think that's the clear answer, right? But for the most part, that's the obvious one. All right, let's look here at the.
That's crazy. I can't say normal. I think I would be. Let's see. I would be Bug. Bug is one. Kricketune is like a music Pokemon, and like there's like sound ability. So I'd be Bug, and then I would probably be Steel because I always I'm always loaded.
What do you mean by that?
I'm always carrying.
I'm always strapped up.
I'm always strapped. I would be a musician. Oh, actually saxophone. That's actually why. I would be a bug I'd be a saxophone steel type Pokemon, but like with bug wings or something like that. So
Yeah.
I'd be like a saxophone.
Mega Kricketune, but he's playing the sax instead of the cello.
Yes, exactly. Or the violin.
Or the violin, my bad.
For this season, I'll have to say Psychic and probably Dragon. Psychic because my team is just so much reliant on Ending Force. And also then just Dragon because that's my favorite type in general.
Yeah, let's go. I love Dragon type.
Might be a little bit of a basic answer, but yeah, Psychic Dragon.
I think this season has made me realize how much I really like electric types quite a bit, so I think I would make that one of them. I don't know if that fits my personality though, actually. That's just personal preference. I will say electric fire. Don't have any good explanation for that, but it just kind of feels correct.
Electric Fire is a cool type. I honestly thought you were going to say Electric Bug, and I was like, Galvantula moment.
Oh my god, wait, that would have been smart!
Joltic moment.
Yeah, god damn it. Oh well, I'll keep my original answer.
Okay.
Let me pull up the type calculator.
Hold on. Type calculator. I feel like okay. Let me think about it. I want to say probably electric fighting because Iron Hands has that typing, and I see myself reflected in that Pokemon.
I wouldn't know about what describes me, but in terms of the types that I like, I think my two favorite types tend to be Ice and Dragon. I like Steels a lot too, but Ice and Dragon are probably my favorites at the end of the day. I would make teams that are just actually filled with Dragon types in the future, but it always feels like it doesn't feel like a good idea most of the time. But if I could make a team that just had a bunch of Dragon types, like I genuinely considered Appleton a few times building my team this season.
It's funny. I was just thinking about this today. I was thinking about like what type combinations my volleyball teammates would be, and I kind of got stuck on myself. But if I had to think of a type combo for myself, Bug would definitely be one of them. I feel like I've got some like Bug energy on me. I'm a big fan of Bugs too. Bug would be a part of it. And you know what? I think I'm just gonna leave it at Bug.
Oh.
I think I'm just gonna be a pure Bug type because I don't think the other types really fit with my personality. You could put Bug flying because I'm just super tall, but I like pure Bug.
I was gonna say a Dark type because you're kind of like a tricky, kind of like a trickster. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like Bug kind of encapsulated because, you know, if I was a Dark type, that would mean I'm, like, truly evil and get away with my schemes. Having just normal Bug, I feel like, encapsulates how I pull schemes and never get away with them. So I'm final answer, Mono Bug.
Isaiah, are you still doing type calculations?
Yeah.
What type combination would you be, Michael?
What type combination would I be? I'd be a dragon and fire type because those are my favorite types. I'm like an 8-year-old on the inside, so dragon fire. So
No,
fucking
you
cool.
wouldn't. You'd be a bug type.
No, I'd be a
You'd be
bug.
a tiny little bug type.
You know what? Bugs are pretty cool. I'd be the first ever bug dragon. Also, I'm Asian, and so obviously I get the dragon type because
You are?
dragons are Asian.
Dude, You. Also, sorry. Sorry.
Wait, Michael, do you speak Asian?
I don't.
Good question.
Kung Pao chicken.
Isaiah, this guy's racist. This guy's racist.
Dude, we gotta take you out to the Hong Kong buffet sometime.
Oh yeah, Michael. Next time I'm in town, I'm taking you both to the Hong Kong buffet.
Okay, I landed on Ghost Dark type.
Why is that?
Most immunities.
And only one weakness to fairy?
Yeah, most immunities though.
You're just immune. You're weak to gay people.
Yeah.
The gay type.
Because yeah, right. I mean, I would think that would be Stellar, but Stellar's
Well,
not
it's
real.
Pride Month. You can't say that.
Not at the time. Well, at the time of this recording, it's the last day of Pride Month. You're right.
Yeah,
Oh,
but this
so
won't
that
come
means
out.
it's over?
Yeah, pretty
This
much.
won't
Wow.
This will come out during Pride Month, and we don't care. We do not care.
Lounge Draft League is against gay rights.
Yeah, baby.
Best describes me. Well, when I was a kid, I used pretty young, elementary school age. I used to think that I was really good at predicting what people would think or reading minds. So I always say that I was a psychic type, and then I was I'm in karate, so I'm fighting. So I always used to say if I was a Pokemon, I would be fighting and psychic. But now that I'm an adult and I know that I can't actually read people's minds, I would probably just say fighting, because I am a martial artist. Yeah, well, let me actually pull up the type chart here to see if there's any. I'm not a bug, I'm not made of rock, I'm not dead, I'm not a dragon, I'm not evil, I'm not... Yeah, probably just mono fighting. Cool. I don't think anything else would be able to describe me. Oh wait, you know what? I'm adding psychic type to me again. I hard read people all the time in Smash Bros. I deserve the psychic type. We're back to psychic. I can't read people's minds. One person at home listening, you're thinking of pineapple right now. Don't lie.
Ooh, the hard read.
I can see the future. I can see my schedule. I'm 3 for 3.
You are a psychic type, and you're a Gallade.
Yeah, my favorite Pokemon. No. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
the prophecy.
The prophecy.
At a list of types. I mean, and intrinsically, I would say electric, because I am fast, and dark is a funny one, but I'm not evil. Am
You're a
I?
bad guy. You're a good guy.
Yeah, so I'd be fairy. I'm gonna go with electric. I feel like I have an electric personality.
You can be a type combo if you want.
Yeah, and I can't say normal for the secondary type, correct?
Well, I don't know. I guess you could if you think it really does describe you. It's kind of a boring answer, though. You know?
I know. There's a reason why you didn't say that. I'll just stick to pure electric.
There's another person in the league that's a monotype. Can you guess who it is?
Oh boy, it's Ben, because he said he had trouble with normal.
You're right.
Yes, let's go.
He's a mono bug.
I was about to say bug. I could so see him being a bug.
I kind of want to. There's a bit here where I just say fucking. I can't think of two types that are weak to grass. I could just say water ground, because my biggest weakness is touching grass.
Okay, that works.
If I were to give a more serious answer, I want to say something with electric types, because I spend so much time on the internet and playing video games and stuff. So electric.
What about electric ground? So you can also be weak to grass.
I was thinking electric ground, just kind of a. I think I'm kind of a grounded person, you know.
Oh, clever wordplay. All right, electric ground. You're a Stunfisk.
No.
I love Stunfisk.
Stunfisk is actually kind of a little guy.
Yeah, he's a little guy. And you ever see him when he's happy? He's got a little smiley face. He's adorable.
That's true. No, I might be a Stunfisk.
Loki.
He's kind of just like me for real. my rebrand is gonna be the St. Louis Stunfisks.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna go psychic fighting.
Wow, psychic fighting. What's your reasoning behind that? I don't know.
No, with how I like to think, of how I like to play the game, I would probably say part of me is a dark type. Not because I like to be evil or anything, but but I like to try to get creative with builds when I have Pokemon, like the collecting build. So I think, as like I have like that, trickster side of me that's not exactly a prankster side of me. And if I had to choose another type, I would choose either rock or ground as my second type, because I'm trying to be pretty steadfast in the Pokemon I do use, because there's always going to be a part of me to where I don't want to like use a meta Pokemon just because it's meta. Like, Urshifu is really good for a reason, but I'm never going to pick up Urshifu unless I like the Pokemon, and I currently don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I like Landorus. I don't care if Landorus has been power cut by Incineroar. I don't want to be Landorus. I feel like I'm pretty rock steady in that moment, so I'd probably go like rock and dark.
Okay.
I have to choose types.
You're a Tyranitar then.
Yay!
Yay!
I love the Pokemon. It's Godzilla, but rock.
But rock.
That's a good question. I mean, I gotta do fighting because I'm a black belt in karate. I do wrestling. I like sports and stuff. And I'm trying to think. So that would probably be my first type. And then for my second, I'm almost feeling like fire, just because like I can get a little hot-headed, I can get a little salty, I can get a little energetic, a little chaotic, and so I think I would do fighting mixed with fire. I think that's how I would do it.
Thank you again for joining me for one of these interviews, Alex. Thank you, Josh, for joining me for yet another seasonal interview video.
Thank you for always doing these. It's great.
Yeah, you're actually the inspiration for these interviews because you did it season 1, and I thought it was so fun, and I wanted to do it again.
Yes, and then season 2, I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, season 2, I wanted to do it, but I just kind of forgot, and then that's when I picked it up season 3.
Yeah. No, I'm glad they're back. So they're always fun. I always love listening to it.
Thank you.
I never like hearing my voice, but that's okay.
Me neither, honestly. It takes a while for me to get used to hearing my own voice. Even in like the streams, it's hard. Thank you so much for listening in and either watching or just having this on in the background. It means a lot to me that you actually stuck around all the way to the very end. Normally with this type of thing, I will have background music and it swells to like some kind of emotional climax and it's all dramatic and the tears fall and babies are crying and the world is at peace, but honestly, just in seriousness, thank you so much for like I said, listening in. I make this purely for passion and just because I love doing this for my friends, and that's honestly the main thing why I like it, and it's just fun. In terms of the future for the lounge, well, I don't know what direction we're gonna take it. I don't see us ever stopping doing this unless we all stop being friends, but that's probably not gonna happen anytime soon. So in any case, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you later.
Ha! It's the post-credit scene. I don't want to leave anyone out, so I will give everyone a shout out. William, shoutouts to you for making Psy Spam popular again. Everybody loves it. Kyle, shoutouts to me for making the low tiers stand out. Low tiers have feelings too. Isaiah, shoutouts to you for having Bastiodon as your logo, but not even drafting them. What great mind games. Josh, shoutouts to you for going double weather. Who has the guts to pull that off? Not me, that's for sure. Michael, shoutouts to you for being such an awesome dragon. I'm adamant about that. Ha! Gabby, shoutouts to you for, as before, like I said, dropping Sneasler. It'll be a great home on my team. Chris, shoutouts to you for going with the Reggie gas strategy. Neutralizing gas, get that bad ability out of here. Who's next? It's Eli. Shoutouts to you for going with a little bit of a Gen 5 theme. Best generation, only because I started with it. But still the best. Ben, shoutouts to you for making Sableye work. Super awesome to have your favorite Pokemon on your team and being successful with it. Nathan, shoutouts to you for coming in, doing your best, and really just getting thrown into the fire and having still a good attitude about it. That's not easy. Alex, shoutouts to you for going with the commander strategy. Not the easiest thing to do in a draft league, but I'm proud of you for sticking with it. Jake, shoutouts to you for not believing in yourself and overhauling your whole team. We'll see if it pays off. Eric, shoutouts to you for pulling probably the coolest play we've seen so far. Clangorous Soul, Dancer, Baton Pass. Who thinks of that? That's what I love about doubles. And Connor, shoutouts to you for winning this season.